I am Megan Korn. I am an enrolled member of the Chickasaw Nation from Oklahoma, and I am a third-year medical student at the University of North Dakota, and this is my elevated story. So kind of a weird thing for a 5-year-old. I told my parents when I was 5 years old, I want to be a baby doctor, and they were like, "Oh, cute, she wants to be a pediatrician." And I was like, "No, I want to pull the babies out." And then I just kind of followed that through high school, unknowingly exactly what I was getting into. And so I was able to shadow a couple of OBGYNs before in high school and then in college. And then I kind of followed this pathway unknowingly where it was going to take me and kind of built it as I was going. Medicine was a really good spot for me because you get to be intellectually stimulated for your whole life, as well as caring and making people's lives better. And so that, I think, is what it became from that 5-year-old dream, that I learned more about what it was and who I was and why I wanted to pursue it. And so, yeah, I guess I knew what I wanted from a young age, but it all worked out in the end. So there is a huge financial burden of medical school, and I think that scares many people from lower socioeconomic status away from medicine, because you have to take on $200,000-$300,000 of debt, and that is not something that most people want to do. And so I think once I started breaking it down and looking at the cost and how long it would take to pay off all of my debt that I've accrued over the years, it didn't scare me away, but it was a big factor in deciding where I wanted to go to medical school. So North Dakota, I go through the Indians into Medicine program in med, and they offer a stipend for our first year to cover the extra cost of out of state. So they pay for about half our tuition the first year, which was a really big factor in me deciding to go to North Dakota. I didn't know before I got here how much it was going to be. And then you factor in, like you said, the plus living, plus books, plus everything else that medical school costs, and even just, professional clothing that I didn't have. And all of that adds up really quickly. And so that's been a really difficult thing, I think, just penny pinching. And I'm applying for food stamps right now. And so it's been an interesting growth for me personally. Just through the program of InMed, Indians into Medicine at UND, I have felt supported for the first 2 years. We have the largest Native student group out of the medical schools. And so that's been huge to have that as support behind me. And then we have Native faculty, mentors through that. And there's been so much help along the way in the first 2 didactic years. And then you get kind of thrown out into the clinical world, which is the real world. And I think there are a lot of stigmas that still haven't gone away in North Dakota. And so I went out to rural North Dakota for my family medicine. And so just working with older populations, a lot of farmers and things like that, there's still kind of that idea that maybe I'm still young, and people thought I was a nurse or a phlebotomist or things like that. And so it's just still those stereotypes that are in their head. And so that it was never disheartening to me. It was just maybe more reason to keep following this path. But yeah, there have been some ups and downs and difficulties along the way in the clinical years. But like I mentioned, the preclinical years were just absolutely lovely. It was such an honor and such an exciting day to hear that I was selected as an ElevateMeD Scholar, just because that is automatically some weight lifted off your shoulder financially. And previously, we had talked about how that is a big burden and that can impede on your studying and just your well-being in life. And so that was really, really great. And then also to have the financial mentorship. How do we deal with this debt that we've accrued over the past 2 years or 4 years? And what do we do going forward? I think that's going to be such a great opportunity for all of us. And then additionally, to have mentors with similar backgrounds and similar ideas, I think is just another great thing that ElevateMeD has to offer for us to learn from leaders in the field and to one day become the leaders in the field and mentor. And I think it's the beginning of a great cycle that is only going to prosper for diversity in medicine.